So today I want to talk about resolutions, which are my least favorite things on the face of the earth. I hate them with a passion, simply because I think it's because we get so focused on what are you doing now? What are you doing now? What are you doing now? You go to work and it's what are you doing now? What are you doing now? What are you doing now? People around you, what have you done lately? What have you done for me lately? So it's always an up, 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 like Sisyphus, pushing that rock uphill, only to whenever you didn't reach that next level, the rock kind of, falls back down the hill, and there's no appreciation for what has been, and what you have resolved, and what has become a fabric and fiber of your person, and where you have changed. Before, my kid, I used to smoke. I had a bit of a drinking issue before, where if I wanted to sleep, I had to drink something like, wine, not a lot, like half a glass, in order to fall asleep. That has changed. Um, my food intake this year has changed. I don't take as much food in a day that I used to. The type of food probably does have to change, though. In the last 6 months, I have exercised more than usual. I do exercise. If it's not every day, then sometimes some weeks I'll do it 3 times a week, and definitely exercising longer than usual. Although the last few months, like a month or two ago, I stopped going to the gym, which I probably should do again. And uh, my feet have been swelling, parts of my body have been swelling, and that's because I think it's a heart issue, because it's consistent. Like, my feet have stayed swollen since uh, Thanksgiving. But one of the achievements I have done this year, which is different than last, is I do have health insurance, I do have vision insurance and dental. Um, Definitely, my work ethic has changed over the last few years. Every year, I'm getting better about digging into and kind of investing in my interest in where I'm working. Before, I used to do it passively. Now I'm actually quite invested in my job and what I do, because I think what I do is really important. It really helps people. I hated school. I feel like school was which was a prison, and now with this new evolution in education, to be a part of that, something I think I would have really enjoyed as a kid, and it gives kids the opportunity to have a good positive association with education, so that they have a better chance of becoming lifelong learners. That's really something I'm a part of, and I'm very appreciative of that. What is it? Resolution that stuck out for the last, what is this, the fourth year? So in 15 days, it'll be January 15th. I have a video on it. And 2020, January 15th is when I started making my videos and posting them. My first one was called Martyr. And martyrs is like if you're persecuted or die in your religious ideas or concepts or belief, or Jesus specifically for me. That's one of my first videos was on that, and that was 4 years ago. Resolution that has created an evolution within me. So that's why I do these every at least 7 days. I missed yesterday. And also baking contest levels. So we do this thing where we bake every year. My family has a baking contest, and it's really allowed for really cool opportunities and photos, and with family members that we didn't know wouldn't be here this year. That level of baking skill to go up, I feel like I missed a compote or something in my piece. I usually put a video of it or a picture of it, but I feel like the icing wasn't very good because my icing nozzles were missing and I was a bit disorganized. It was a savory dish, and it was basically, I guess you could say it was a cupcake. It sounds stupid, but I had a written piece with it called More Time, and it was a lemon pound cake with thyme in it, the thyme as in the herb, and it had goat cheese, and on top it had like an abstract clock, and it marked the birthday and the last day of somebody in our family. And so I was hoping, maybe, I think next year it's just gonna have to change. It's gonna have to be different. It's gonna have to be better. Anyhow, that's something I'm focusing on for this year, is for that to be better, and maybe for another contest to come out, because I think these contests are fun. Also, this year I'm also going to be doing a Bible in the year starting today with the Essentia app. I'm going to be advertising some apps on here, simply because as an ESL teacher or tutor, I can kind of assist with the last, I don't know, 6, 7 years of teaching ESL on the best ways to to learn a second language. And it is a trait of other countries to have at least a language or two different than their own under their belt. They have to know English. So that kind of starts them on the road of learning other languages because they start to feel their mind, their brain, and their thinking process change as they learn languages. And I know because I speak to people who know several languages, and that's what they say. That's their addiction. So I would like to this year learn SSL, which is Spanish as a second language. And the best way to do this, I would think, would be, I think it's called LingoPie. It's probably pronounced differently because it's got like little symbols. I should have just looked up how to pronounce it. But anyway, I'll put it on the screen. And so there's this app is really kind of cool because you can watch shows and stuff, and it's all in the language you wish to watch it, Spanish being one of them, and it gives you the ability to play with the language. Like it'll have it on the screen and you can tap on it and see what it means in English so that you can see it in its original language, but then you can tap on the word, unlike, closed captioning where it's just the words on the screen, or just English on the screen and it's translating verbatim. Some people can learn like that. They can watch it and they can see it. Like there's a lot of people I speak to who live in Saudi Arabia and they say, I watch Friends. And they say, I love Friends. That's what taught me English, is just watching Friends, which is incredible. And they'll watch Friends first with their own language at the bottom of the screen, and then they'll watch it without it. And this is what LingoPie seems to be teaching, is how to do that. And you can have the original language on the screen and tap on each word and see it in your language. So you don't have to depend on, you know, just kind of knowing what that is in the original language or just on your language. So it does make it a bit more interactive, a little bit more tactile learning in a sense. And it does teach you how to pronounce what you're looking at or hearing, instead of just seeing it in your own language. So it's kind of cool. Anyhow, the other thing is Cambly. I do kind of have an invested interest in Cambly, but that's not the point. Cambly is really cool because once you've done like LingoPie and once you've done Babbel, which is really cool because that's very interactive. The way that it teaches is backwards and forwards. It's like, here's a picture, here's the word. It teaches you on so many different levels. This is what it is in a sentence, this is how to use it properly. It teaches you grammar. Babbel's very good. So if you stick with those two apps for a little bit and get comfortable with and seeing and hearing a language, I would move on to Cambly. And if you go to Cambly, you will increase by leaps and bounds. There's something about actively hearing somebody speak to you in the language, you having to respond back, and you going through the lessons that they have available on the screen, because as a tutor, we bring people through the lessons, and you are seeing the words, you're hearing how it's used. Sometimes people just use it as a way to pull in more vocabulary, and um, not only you hearing it, you're seeing it, but you're also interacting with somebody who's expecting you to respond back. Now, the way people kind of counter not knowing the language at first for the first few weeks is they'll actually have Google Translate up, and they will translate directly, and they'll say, hey, am I saying this correctly? Am I saying it in the right tense? Am I saying this, grammatically, in the right way? And, my job is to listen for the pronunciation and to correct them in the way it sits in a sentence. And so I know from somebody who watches people within just a few weeks go from knowing not one word in English to being able to speak full sentences and be able to communicate completely with me within a few weeks. Cambly works. It's immersion in the sense that the person you're speaking to does not know a lick of what you're saying. So you have to meet them where they are as a student. You have to talk the language of your teacher. So I would say that do those two apps, Babbel and LingoPie, to get comfortable with the language, and then go into Cambly within whenever you wish. So language is one of those things where you really do have to learn to get comfortable with it, because people get really nervous on the screen when it's live with me. They get really, really nervous. And I actually might myself go on to Cambly and learn Spanish, because I can see how quickly people will, within just a few months, become um, fluent in a language that they are not familiar with a few months before. So anyhow, that's my New Year's resolution: is eating better, exercising more efficiently, more often, meaning in the gym, not specifically just walking around the block, and learning Spanish as a second language, and doing a Bible in a Year app, and of course keeping up with my old resolution, like making my videos and uh, becoming a better person with my contests, becoming better with work, as I have been every year. And yes, I think that would be it. So this is Linda of Crisis King Forever. May God be with you.